Welcome back inside TD Garden, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined once again by Josue Pavon of WEEI.com, the Green Street blog. Josue, no other way to put it, really. We witnessed an epic performance from Isaiah Thomas. 53 points, one shy of the Celtics' all-time playoff record. The Celtics, again, pull one out from the jaws of defeat. They beat the Washington Wizards. They have to go to overtime this time, 129 to 119. The Celtics take a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series, with the series now headed to Washington for game number 3 on Thursday night. Isaiah Thomas, the story continues to be unbelievable, really. After undergoing 6 hours of dental surgery on Monday, he had 4 more hours at the hospital on Tuesday, a couple of hours before taking the court, and he puts up this performance. And on top of it all, it would have been China Thomas's 23rd birthday. Obviously, a very difficult day for one Isaiah Thomas, and how he responded tonight was really epic.
Yeah, Brad Stevens told us that, he's been having a tough day, and of course, that was the biggest reason why, of course. He said that it was tough for him to even get here. You saw at some points during the timeouts, I saw again Avery Bradley sort of, give him a hug whenever he had a big shot, a big play. And it's unbelievable, Trags. I mean, we've never seen anything like this. I mean, personally, I've never seen anything like this. I know you watch a lot more basketball than I have, especially when it comes to Celtics basketball. But I've never seen someone just continue to amaze. And I love the way Brad Stevens said it when they asked him about Thomas's development and how he was from the moment he came a Celtic to how he is now. And he just says that I just expect him to keep getting better because that's just what he continues to do. That's what he continues to show year after year. And what he did tonight was incredible, to get in that one-on-one battle against John Wall, who put up an epic performance, by the way. Not as good as Isaiah's, but he really set his guys up. The Wizards were really rolling there at certain points. It felt like they were going to run away with it, but then out came Isaiah Thomas in that huge fourth quarter into overtime, just took care of business here in the at the Garden.
27 points between the fourth quarter and overtime. The Celtics were down at one point following a 9-0 run by Washington, 110 to 104. Actually 110, I believe, to 103, and the Celtics come all the way back. They tie the game. Then they are very fortunate, I think, to get into overtime when John Wall has a good look with 3 seconds left. Offensive rebound by Bradley Beal. He had a very good look, and his shot came up short. They go to overtime, and by the time they got to overtime, the Wizards were out of gas. It was pretty obvious. It was Marcin Gortat fouling out on a Marcus Smart offensive rebound. We'll talk a little bit about Marcus Smart and his toughness, and also the play of Terry Rozier. But also later, it was Markieff Morris fouling out. And when you lose those two guys, two of your starters in overtime, and the Celtics were pulling away, you could tell the Celtics were really taking advantage of a tired Washington bunch.
Yeah, all of a sudden you get a lot smaller, right, Trags? I mean, when you lose Gortat, you lose Morris. Those two guys were certainly a defensive force down low, especially Gortat. Gortat actually stopped Thomas at the rim. He's one of the few people to do that. And Markieff Morris, I mean, from the beginning, just pushing Al Horford around, getting away with certain things.
Throwing him into the stands right behind us, into the front row of seats in front of the Washington bench.
Yeah, you know what? You said it better than I did, actually, in the opening seconds. So I was like, okay, here we go. They set the tone, especially the toughness. And the Celtics came roaring back with a toughness of their own. Of course, Isaiah Thomas, coming down the stretch in that fourth quarter. At one point, this is something I really wanted to bring up in this report, Trags, is that the fact that there was a 2-point game, Isaiah Thomas going to the free throw line with the game on the line. And I'm thinking to myself, well, first of all, before that, he makes his fadeaway at the elbow. Classic Paul Pierce-like move. Reminded me so much of Paul Pierce. But then here he goes to the free throw line. And for some reason, Trags, I thought about Paul Pierce in 2002 against the Nets in Game 4 when he missed a huge pair of free throws.
Yep.
And,
That's a good call, Josue.
They actually lost that Game 4. In my opinion, if they win that Game 4, maybe the Celtics go to the finals. Anyways, I digress. My point being, I was thinking to myself, uh-oh, maybe this is the moment where Isaiah, comes up short. No. Not Isaiah. Not this guy has a heart of a lion. Makes both of the free throws, goes into overtime, and just completely takes care of business for the Celtics.
So I asked Scott Brooks, the Washington Wizards head coach, about the Wizards trying to keep their cool. And a couple of times I thought this was like a hockey playoff game where the Wizards were trying to draw the Celtics into extracurricular play. There was, as we mentioned, the Morris-Horford tete-a-tete early in this game because Morris felt like Al Horford got too close to him, and he was to blame for turning his ankle, which, according to John Wall after the game, looked purple. So he played with a purple sprained left ankle. But there was that. There was Isaiah Thomas and Markieff Morris getting into it time and time again. There was Otto Porter taking a shot to the face. He left with a bloody nose. He did come back to the game. And Avery Bradley had to play through some toughness. It wasn't necessarily because Washington took a cheap shot, but late in the first half, Avery Bradley bumped hips with Otto Porter. He had to leave with a hip pointer. He came back to start the third quarter. Brad Stevens thought he looked a little bit slow and sluggish, went back for more treatment, and then came back. And you know what, Josue? It was Avery Bradley's strip of John Wall on a breakaway dunk during that 9-0 run to get the Celtics back into this game. I thought was huge.
Big time. I mean, momentum swing, obviously. John Wall was just sort of putting the team on his back. He looked gassed, but in that moment, you know, that's what you want. If you're the Washington Wizards, you want him to get easy layups, but here comes Avery Bradley to make a huge stop. You know, Marcus Smart, I mean, Terry Rozier, these are the tough guys, I felt like, whether we're talking about rebounding or just defense in general. I feel like they came up with huge stops. There were hustle plays, and these were plays that were crucial in setting up that fourth quarter and crucial for the Celtics to come back. I mean, the Wizards never really grabbed a 20-point lead in this one, but they had a lot of the momentum throughout the game, throughout the three quarters, until that opening of the fourth quarter where the Celtics sort of grabbed it back, and then at that point it was sort of a coin flip, but the Celtics were there to fight every single play, came up with huge stops, especially down the stretch in those last few minutes where they opened it to a two-possession game.
Yeah, I mentioned that strip and the dunk by Avery Bradley. Actually, that was in overtime, not during the 9-0 run at the end of regulation. Let's one more time go over Isaiah Thomas's line, Josue. 18 of 33 from the field, which is remarkable in and of itself. 12 of 13 from the free throw line. He had 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and, of course, the 53 points. I don't know if he can get any better. I mean, is Isaiah Thomas going to have to do this the rest of the playoffs for the Celtics to advance, not only in this series, but have a chance that, you know, either Cleveland or Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals, and perhaps even get to the NBA Finals?
Well, one of the things I've been talking about throughout the series tracks, or going into the series especially, was the fact that I think the best 3 players on the Celtics team need to try to combine for 69, 70, 71 points. When that wasn't happening, when it was the fourth quarter and I didn't see that out of Al Horford, Isaiah Thomas, and Avery Bradley, I thought to myself, okay, well, IT is sort of on his way to that, but 53 points, that's not what I had in mind, Trags. I didn't think he was going to score 53, especially with the way John Wall was playing. I feel like he sort of had the edge because he was not only producing points for his team, but he was also finding his guys. He finished with a double-double. But for Isaiah Thomas to go off the way he did, I mean, he just, out of the two of them, he clearly just had a lot more left in the tank than John Wall did, and it showed, especially in that overtime.
Okay, we talk about the 53 points of, obviously, Isaiah Thomas. You know who I think had a huge, huge impact on this game? Terry Rozier, a couple of three-pointers at a clutch time when the Celtics were down 8 points early in the fourth quarter, and it looked like the Wizards were finally going to try and pull away and get this series even, going back to Washington for Game 4 on Thursday night. But it was Terry Rozier coming really through in the clutch with a couple of three-pointers. He finished with 12 points off the bench. He has given the Celtics a ton of energy as a reserve.
Plus 94, was it?
Yeah, I think some ridiculous number like plus 94 is Terry Rozier in the playoffs.
Throughout the entire playoffs. That's unheard of. I've never heard of that before. We talk about, of course, his energy and what he does, but what I loved about that big 3 was that Isaiah Thomas is the one that gave him the ball. You know, he found him in the corner, gave it to him, trusted him to take that shot, and, of course, Brad Stevens trusted to have him in the lineup in that stretch, in that crucial moment. I mean, these guys coming off the bench have been contributing, and Terry Rozier, in my opinion, is right up there in terms of Marcus Smart, just being productive. I mean, Marcus Smart rebounds, he defends, but Terry Rozier just, like, not only scores, but he just gives you that jolt of energy that this team constantly needs, especially when the Wizards came out playing so tough the way they did throughout this entire game.
And props again to our colleague, Josue Pavon, for asking the question to John Wall.
What question did I ask again?
He asked, you asked the following question.
No more Hoiberg talk, all right?
Have you, promise I won't. Have you ever, John Wall, have you ever faced a competitor one-on-one like Isaiah Thomas in the playoffs? And his answer, nope, 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 nope. So I guess pretty definitively, John Wall and his very, very close friend Isaiah Thomas, they go way back. They have a rivalry, but it's a friendly rivalry. It's one certainly filled with respect, and certainly that respect level was ratcheted up quite a few notches tonight as Isaiah Thomas, with his 53 points, one shy of John Havlicek's all-time Boston playoff franchise record. He outdoes John Wall and his 40 points. Game number 3 is Thursday night. Can the Celtics take a 3-0 lead in this Eastern Conference semifinal? Be sure to hit up the Green Street blog on WEEI.com. Josue Pavon and yours truly will have you covered on the Green Street blog. We'll have complete coverage leading up to Game 3 and, of course, Game 4, which will be set also in Washington on Sunday. That'll be a wrap from here at TD Garden. The Celtics go up 2-0. Isaiah Thomas with a performance for the ages, 53 points. The Celtics win in overtime, 129-119. For Josue Pavon, I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.